Venice Boulevard was identified as one of the first 15 great streets, which was Mayor Eric Garcetti's very first executive directive. Launched in October 2013, the 15 streets were announced in partnership with each council office and community in June of 2014. So Venice Boulevard was the first great street identified in Council District 11. And to kick it off, in January 2015, Councilman Mike Bonin and Mayor Eric Garcetti did a neighborhood canvas here in Mar Vista with over 150 people attending that.
40,000 here.
We're 40,000.
So I'll remind you that a canvas is actually going door to door to give information out to people in the community in Mar Vista to invite people to begin to think about what a great street in Mar Vista on Venice Boulevard would look like. And it was held right here at the fire station, and then everybody walked throughout the community, providing information. Following up on that, in January as well, there was an open house, a workshop at the Venice Boulevard Farmers Market to begin again to identify what could this street look like, as the councilman mentioned, in the future. What does a great street on Venice Boulevard look like? And there was lots of activities looking at the different types of treatments, from streetscape to art and culture to transportation, that could support a great street on Venice and Mar Vista. And it really was the first time, actually, that we began testing and looking at, could the street carry different functions from a transportation perspective? This was an activity that allowed people to play with the street makeup, to figure out, what does it look like to have a parklet, or different bicycle facilities, or a center running bus lane along Venice Boulevard. These were the visioning ideas that were brought up at the time. And then this activity was taken on the road at 6 different locations, many different dates, for people to interact with this concept of what Venice Boulevard could be for the Mar Vista community. At the high school, at the library, at the Grandview Market, at the Venice Grind, at the Farmers Market, and on a family bike ride. 6 different discrete locations among many different weeks. Some of these posters were up for weeks at a time. And the results of that, those exercises and activities, were 8 different community priorities. So this is what the Mar Vista community identified for their great street, Venice Boulevard, in the downtown of Mar Vista. So drought-tolerant landscaping, protected bicycle facilities, trash cans, street trees, pedestrian scale lighting, outdoor seating at businesses, public gathering spaces, regular special events. So this was over the course of 5 months in early 2015. And the Department of Transportation, we really have the jurisdiction over 2 of these different priorities that were identified by the community, which is essentially what happens in the public right-of-way, in the street. So transportation facilities, gathering spaces in the public right-of-way is our jurisdiction. Now, at the same time, another important policy directive was being introduced to the city of Los Angeles, and that's called Vision Zero. Vision Zero is the city's campaign to eliminate traffic fatalities. Now, last time I was here and I said that, I got a big laugh.
That's
right?
absurd.
Because people think that it's impossible, right? But it's the right goal. We shouldn't expect that we have to take our lives into our hands moving about this city. Vision Zero is a policy underpinned by the principle that everybody should be able to move through our streets, get home to their loved ones safely and securely. And it's underpinned, Vision Zero is underpinned by a few key principles. So the first principle is that speed kills. We know certain things about speed because it's simply physics. If you're a person walking or biking, and you are hit by a vehicle going 20 miles an hour, doesn't matter whose fault it is. We're not talking about fault, we're just talking about physics. You've got an 80% chance of survival. 20 miles an hour, 80% chance of survival. If that speed of the vehicle increases to 40 miles an hour, and that collision happens, it's only a 10% chance of survival. Only 1 out of 10 people will walk away from a collision at that speed. So that, for us as the Department of Transportation, in terms of our design principles, when we're looking at transportation improvements, designing for safe speeds is part of this new Vision Zero paradigm. And that was the important guidance that we got from our mayor and city council in August of 2015. At the same time, that Mar Vista was engaged in this conversation about what Venice Boulevard could look like from a Great Streets perspective. We know a couple of things about collisions. We know that the majority of collisions happen between vehicle-vehicle, right? There's just a sheer volume of vehicles out there involved in fender benders. Only 14% of collisions involve people walking or biking. But then when you look at the deaths, half of the people who are killed in collisions are those walking and biking. That right there tells you that we have a problem and that we need to address safety on our streets. So this was a 5-year collision analysis that we did to be looking at comprehensive safety data. We took that data and we mapped it. We mapped it on the streets of Los Angeles, and we found that only 6% of our city streets account for 2/3 of the deaths and serious injuries for people walking and biking. We call this our high injury network. And square on that high injury network is Venice Boulevard in Mar Vista. So while this community visioning process was underway, we also have a mandate as the Department of Transportation to focus on safety for everybody walking, biking, driving, taking transit along this corridor. So we do a collision analysis. That's what we and our engineers at the Department of Transportation do. We do a robust deep dive into the individual collisions that are happening along the corridor. And this shows you that we have lots of collisions involving people walking, people biking, and people driving. And this is the data that then informs our design approach. So this, in combination with the results from community input, wanting public gathering spaces and safer travel opportunities along Venice Boulevard, led us to a design principle for improving safety for all. So a couple of highlights of our proposed design. As the councilman mentioned, 4 new pedestrian crossings with full traffic signal to get people across Venice Boulevard safely and securely at those opportunities that people want them. Leading pedestrian interval, which gives you a head start when you're crossing the street for better visibility for turning vehicles, better safety and visibility. Signal optimization to balance traffic flow. We have a mandate to look at the balance of safety and traffic. A protected bicycle lane that has a buffer zone and what we call a vertical element, the bollard, to physically protect moving traffic from bicycle lanes and high visibility crosswalks. Now, I've heard a lot of different myths about the project, and a lot of people are talking about, how could we spend so much money on this project? I just want to note that the majority of the funding for this project is the 4 signalized crossing points with civil improvements. The rest of this is the pilot program. It's low-cost materials that we can use as the Department of Transportation
It's our money.
To analyze how a street functions and make adjustments and tweaks along the way. And that is an important portion of our project.
Please change it back.
Yes. Change it back. Change it back. Change it back.
Right now. Quiet. No. Quiet.
So the longer that we take, the more it cuts into the time for all of you to speak.
Or fast forward. Fast forward.
Quiet, please.
I want to assure people that we don't take these decisions lightly.
You
Again, everybody.
It's evident you did. It's evident. It's evident. Everybody here. It's evidence that you did.
Quiet, please.
We don't take these decisions lightly. Our designs are informed by data, by practice.
By your delusions. By your delusions.
And so we know certain things. We
By
know
your
certain
delusions.
things about this type of design. We know that it has a proven safety record. We know that in a 3-year analysis of this type of design, there's a 20% reduction in the total injuries.
He's going to get it.
We know that it also has economic benefits. In a study of this type of design along 9th Avenue in Manhattan, there was a 50% increase in sales compared to a 3% increase in the rest of Manhattan.
Boom!
We know
Delusions.
Everyone will get their turn with the
Delusions.
microphone.
Dreams.
Everyone.
On my dime. Dreams on my dime.
Okay. So
Quiet, please.
we took the design concepts and again we brought it to the community in an open house in August of 2015 where we presented this design and said this was the result of community feedback. We also took that to Ciclovia for people to observe what Mar Vista, the Great Street in Mar Vista would look like. We also demonstrated what this design could physically look like along Venice Boulevard in Mar Vista. This is the Make It Mar Vista event in November of 2015, where we coned off a lane of traffic and demonstrated exactly how this could look and feel with a parklet, with that bike facility up against the curb. You can see again, here's that gathering space that was part of the community survey, so that we could again gather more input on how this could work and how this could function. And now at the same time, again, we have a responsibility to collect data and measure the healthiness of a street. So there is a benchmarking report that is actually currently published online for anybody to download and look at a holistic view of data that we've collected on Venice Boulevard before any project went in. And so data was collected along these 6 different categories: improving access and mobility, economic activity, safety, secure communities. And examples of that is business revenue, traffic volumes, quality of life surveys, 301 service requests. Again, all of this information is available currently online, lagreatstreets.org/benchmarking. And this serves as our before analysis so that during this pilot program, we can have a baseline to compare the healthiness of the street to. Because measuring data and measuring a project's impact is incredibly important.
Did you measure the potholes?
And we also have...
Did you measure the potholes?
We also have other designs, other streets in Los Angeles where we have implemented this same design. We have other streets in Los Angeles where we've implemented this same design. Van Nuys Boulevard in Pacoima, Reseda in the Valley, Colorado Boulevard in Eagle Rock. And we again have data to demonstrate the safety improvement. This analysis of similar projects has led to an average of 36.7% reduction in injuries along the corridor. That is incredible data that feeds into our Vision Zero initiative and supports this design of the street. So we got to work. It took approximately a year of designing and working with Caltrans to get a design approved. And a project has been installed on Venice Boulevard. And we're gathering data. We have committed to a 1, 3, and 6 month data analysis. For our transportation purposes, this involves gathering vehicle volume, gathering traffic diversion along streets in the community, speed, occupancy, travel time, pedestrian and bicycle counts. And this is all the information that we will be able to present in detail on the 22nd at that open house. We're also continuing to monitor and observe and make adjustments and coordinate appropriately. That is our responsibility. Again, we hear a lot of myths about what's happening out there, and it's our job to solve them. So first, we are coordinating. We are coordinating closely with the fire department to this very day in terms of emergency response times and how they can get safely to emergency incidents along the corridor and in Mar Vista in general. We are coordinating closely with our Department of Disability. The Westside Center for Independent Living, I know, has submitted a letter that we are working with on accessibility modifications. One of the things that we've heard is that Venice Boulevard's an evacuation route, and so did we consider that? And the answer is yes. We've talked to our emergency management department, and they have assured us that this design does not have any negative effect on evacuation.
That's absurd. That's ridiculous. That's a falsehood.
Quiet, please, everyone.
We have also made.
It's ridiculous.
We've also made important design and operational observations that again we will be bringing to the 22nd. Visibility at intersections is a huge issue that we are considering adjusting through design. Green paint at conflict areas to make sure that there's better visibility along the corridor. Ongoing signal operations and modifications are things that we're looking at on a daily, hourly basis, and timing at each individual crosswalk. I assure you, this is what the Department of Transportation does day in, day out, and the pilot program here gives us added responsibility to be doing this on an incredibly detailed and nuanced.
Do you feel potholes?
So, this is my last slide.
Do you feel the potholes?
Thank you for your patience. Please come. Please visit our website.
Please feel the potholes.
Send us emails. Give us a call. We do welcome your feedback. We are listening. We are monitoring. We are making adjustments as necessary. This is an incredibly important project to us, to the Mar Vista community. Thank you.